Alright, so this is the application that we're going to create today. It's going to be a fully functioning VPN with animations, multiple views, and variables that are globally available throughout every single view. It's fully resizable, as you see right there. You can drag it and move it like that. You can move the window around, got a super nice custom list view right here, and if you select the server, you can connect to it. As always, the source code will be available on my Patreon. You'll find that down in the description. That being said, let's get started. Alright, so starting off, we first want to create a new project. So we're going to click create a new project. We're going to select WPF application. Make sure that it has the tag C# down here. Click next. I'll name this modern VPN because why not? Click next. We're going to select .NET 6. If you can't find .NET 6, feel free to try out .NET 5, .NET 3.1, etc. Hit create. Once the project's fully loaded, I'm going to click this vertical split right here. Make sure to zoom in the code a little bit, and let's start by actually fixing this view that we're looking at right now. So I'm going to format this a little bit better, and we're going to add a few more properties. Let's change the window style to none. Let's set a background of transparent. There we go. Allow transparency true, and resize mode can resize. We're not going to set a data context just yet, and we're actually going to switch out this grid for a dock panel. Let's give it a background of, let's say, 1E, 1E, 1E. That looks good. Let's give it a margin of, let's say, 7. And in here, we actually want to start by creating the actual title bar. That itself is going to consist of a border. Give it a height of roughly 28 to give it some contrast. So setting the background to, let's say, hashtag 252525. And since we are using a dock panel, let's do dock panel dock top. Now that's not going to automatically move it to the top. We got to fill in some more content before that actually moves. So let's go ahead and finish this. Let's add a grid inside here. We'll do grid like that. We'll add a grid.column definitions, and we'll add 2 column definitions. Let's give the last one a width of, let's say, 100. You can now see that it's split into 2 parts. Right hand side is going to be used for the actual title bar buttons. So we'll add a text block. It can be self-closed. We'll do text, and this can be named whatever you want it to be named. I'll call it Surf Hub version 3.4.2, and it's content. Let's actually move this into the grid as well. Alright, let's give this some properties so it actually looks good. Let's start with foreground. We'll do light gray. Font family. This can be whatever font you want. You can even import your own. I'm gonna go with Consoles. Consoles, there we go. We don't explicitly have to set the grid column because it's like it starts from it's index based, so it starts from 0. We will, however, do vertical alignment, center, and horizontal alignment as well. So we'll do horizontal alignment as well. Center, perfect. Now we also have to take into account, in order for it to be actually centered relative to this view, we got to take into account the amount of width we gave the right hand side. So we'll add a margin 100, 0, 0, 0. There we go. All right, underneath the text block, we want to create a stack panel. This is what's going to hold our buttons. So we're going to have to set it to grid.column. There we go. And we'll put it at 1. We'll add a orientation of horizontal because it's vertical by default. We'll set a horizontal alignment. Oh, horizontal alignment. We're going to set that to right. We'll give it a little bit of margin. So we'll do margin 0040. And that should be good. Now let's go to add 3 buttons. We can self-close them all. And the content's actually going to be the mark that we want to use. So for instance, this would be the minimize button, adding 2 more buttons and their corresponding icon. Now we're not going to add any commands to it just yet because we haven't even done the view model, but we'll get to it. Now underneath this border, we're going to add another border. This is going to be the left hand side of things. So we'll say border. As you can see, as soon as we do that, this thing moves to the top. We'll give it a width of about 48. We'll do horizontal alignment left, and we'll add a background of, let's say, 25, 25, 25 here as well. Let's go ahead and create the animation straight away. Usually you would create your own theme for this, and in the theme you would have, all the properties as well as the animation. I'm adding it here for simplicity's sake as well. It's going to be easier to read for people who've never done this before. That being said, let's do border.style. We'll add style in here. Oops, style. Probably capitalize the S too. There we go. We'll do style.triggers. Oops, triggers. We'll start by an event trigger. The routed event is going to be border.mouse enter. Let's do event trigger actions. We'll do begin storyboard. And we'll add a storyboard, of course. And we'll do a double animation. It's going to be self-closed. I'll move this over a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. Make that smaller. Here we go. As for the properties of the double animation itself, we'll do storyboard.target name. Actually, instead of a target name, let's do target properties or target property. Yeah, target property. And be sure to add the parentheses as well. We'll do border.width. We'll add another property called 2. We'll do roughly 120. And the duration is going to be 0, 0, and we'll do 0.1. Now, if we were to run the application, it should by all means pop out. Here we go. And it shouldn't pop back in because we haven't added the code for that yet. Now we can actually copy this entire event trigger and we'll do the same thing. But instead of mouse enter, we'll do mouse leave. And we'll just change this back to 100. Actually, it wasn't even 100, it's like 48, wasn't it? Yeah, we'll do 48. Running the application again, we can now see that as soon as we leave it, it goes straight back. Amazing. Now, underneath the border style, we want to create a stack panel. That's going to be for all the buttons on the left-hand side. These are actually going to be radio buttons. So we're gonna do a radio radio button. Now the content is going to be, let's say, VPN. Don't worry about it looking super weird right now. We're going to add a custom style. I'll make it look super nice. We'll do font size. Oh, not font family. We'll start by font size. About 16 should be fine. Font weight is going to be normal. Foreground should be about light gray. There we go. Keeping the same theme. Is checked is going to be on the first one true by default. It's not going to have any commands yet. We'll do 3 buttons for now. Obviously, for the last 2, we don't want to have it checked. And underneath the border, we want a content presenter. Let's do content presenter. There we go. Obviously, we can't bind the content just yet because we don't have the main view model. All right, so the core structure of the main view is done. We're going to revisit this in just a sec. We're going to set up the folder structure as well as the view models and the other view. So in the Solution Explorer, we want to right click the project. We want to do add new folder. We'll call this MVVM, copy it a few times. We'll call this view, it's going to be view model and obviously model. Selecting those 3, putting it inside MVVM, moving our main window into view, hitting OK. This is going to break it temporarily. Let's head into app.saml, changing the startup URI to MVVM/view/ and main view or main window.saml. Closing the main window and opening it back up should get it to work. Let's go ahead and add a core folder as well. It's going to be for our relay command and our observable object, which we can go ahead and add right now. We'll do class observable object because it's the easiest one. This one's going to inherit from I notify property changed. Control dot and import the system.component model. Control dot again and implement the interface itself. Now let's do protected virtual void on property changed. Inside here we want to do caller member name. Control dot using system runtime compiler services. String property name equals null by default. Oops. Curly braces, and look at that. We want property change, no checking, invoke this, do property change event args, and the property name parameter. As for the relay command, let's create a new class called the relay command. To save some time, feel free to pause it right here. I won't be writing this out line by line. Just remember that once you've actually written this out, to import the system Windows input namespace. Actually remove the other ones. There we go. We can go ahead and close these tabs, the observable object and the relay command. And let's go ahead and create a main view model. So we're going to create a new class inside view model, main view model, capitalize the M as well. Now the way we're going to structure this is we're actually going to have a main view model, which is going to serve as the backend for the actual main view. So dragging and moving and all that's going to be handled inside that main view model. It's all going to make sense in just a sec. So inside the main view model, let's create a constructor by typing CTOR and clicking tab. Let's create a full property of type object. So we'll do prop full tab. This is going to be of type object. We're going to call the actual field, the private field is going to be, we'll do underscore current view, hitting tab and current view for the actual property. We can make sure to inherit from observable object, importing the namespace, and in the setter we'll do on property changed. There we go. Now there's one really important setting that we want for when we actually maximize the window. That's going to be application. Make sure to import the right namespace. It's going to be using system.windows. .current .main window .max height equals system parameters. There we go. Dot maximized primary screen height. That's going to make the entire window not look so wonky and overlap the taskbar. Right above this property right here, let's create some commands. So I'm gonna just put a comment right there. We'll say commands. Here we go. We'll create a property of relay command. We'll call this move window command. Actually, move window command. Here we go. And inside the constructor, we'll do move window commands. We'll actually initialize this property right here. Equals new relay command. Parentheses, O arrow function, or lambda as it's called, goes into, we'll create an anonymous function right there. I'll say application dot current, current dot main window dot drag move. There we go. Now that by itself is not going to do anything. We'll still need to bind it, but we'll get to that in just a second. Now because what we're doing right now is we're actually creating the commands for these buttons right here, as well as the drag move right here. Drag move's been done, so let's go ahead and create the actual button commands. We can copy this one. We can rename it to shut down window command. We'll create another one called maximize window command, and one for minimize window command. Let's initialize the shutdown window commands. We'll do shutdown window command is going to be equal to a new relay command, obviously. For this one, we'll do application.current.shutdown. There we go. For the maximize window command, which we should rename so I spell it correctly, maximize window command. There we go. We'll actually open this up. There we go. Deleting what's inside. And we'll do something simple. We'll do if application.current.window. We'll do main window.window state equals window state. If it's already maximized, we'll go ahead and set it to normal equals normal. Actually, go ahead and remove those curly brackets. Else, we'll just maximize it. So we'll do maximize. You can make this way cleaner. This is just, again, simplicity's sake. And for the minimize window, we'll do minimize window command. We can just copy this one over, paste it in there, and instead of setting it to maximized, you guessed it, we'll set it to minimized. All right, cleaning this up a bit. There we go. Let's go ahead and try all of this out. Let's go ahead and bind everything. So inside our main window, we'll create a window.data context, and we'll do main view model, self-close, import XML namespace, rebuild the project, and here we go. Don't worry about the object reference not set to an instance of an object just yet. Let's start with the border. So inside the first border right here, we'll do border.input bindings. We'll do mouse binding. We can self-close this one. The mouse action is going to be left click, and the command is going to be binding move window command. Rebuilding the project. There we go. We can actually run this application real quick, try it out, and we can see that we can move the window around. Amazing. Moving on to the buttons right here, these three right there, which we're going to fix the styling for, don't worry. Let's go ahead and just add the commands real quick. First one, we'll do command binding. This is the minimize one, so we'll do minimize. Here we go. We can copy this command over to both of them. For this one's going to be maximize. This one's going to be shut down. Let's try it out. Let's start by trying shutting it down. That works just fine. Maximizing the window. That works just fine. Maximizing the window and making it back to its original state. That worked just fine. Minimizing worked too. We can close it down again. All right, so let's go ahead and create our first view. We'll call this protection view. So we'll create a new user control. Call this protection view. Vertical split. Let's add a background. We don't have to, but why not? 25, 25, 25, 25. We'll do a text block right here. We'll set the text to protection view. And we'll do let's say a font size of 28. We'll do a vertical alignment center, as well as a horizontal alignment center. You know what, let's add a foreground as well, a light gray, you guessed it. And to go with the actual protection view, it needs a view model. So we're going to create a view model for it as well. So we'll do protection view model. As for right now, we don't really need to add anything specific in here. We're going to add a constructor because why not? And then heading into app.sample, we actually need to register this view and this view model. So inside our application resources, we'll do resource dictionary dot merge dictionaries. This right here is going to be for our themes. That's not how you make a comment in here. There we go. And outside of the merge dictionaries, we want to create a data template and open it up. We'll set the data type. We can't import a namespace, so we're actually going to have to copy the local one that we have right here. And this one's going to add MVVM. Well, we need the view one as well, but the view model. We're going to set X type. All right, instead of local, we need, we'll call this view. This one's going to be VMs. And in here, we want to do protection view model. Whenever that one's activated, we want to show the view, protection view. There we go. Control-Shift-B to rebuild the application. Looks great. Now we need to actually set the content percent that we set right here. So we can actually go ahead and we'll do binding. What am I saying? Content. Content. There we go. Binding current view. And inside our main view model, right underneath the current view, we want to create a few properties of the view models. We'll do prop. We'll do protection view model, protection VM. In the constructor, we can initialize this. We'll do protection view model or protection VM equals new protection view model. Setting the current view equals to the protection view or the VM that we just created. That should be enough to showcase the protection view on as the main screen, keeping the original main view around it the way it is. Oh, we can see that it actually works, it moves. Let's go ahead and fix something real quick. Let's change the background to 1E, 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 just to give it some contrast. There we go, looks way better. We can close it down again. All right, so let's go ahead and add one more view. We'll do right click on view, we'll add a user control. This one's gonna be settings, view. Vertical split, we'll set the background to 1E, 1E, 1E. We'll add a text block. With the text, we'll say settings, view, removing the space, vertical alignment, vertical alignment center, horizontal alignment center, foreground, light gray, and font size 28, just so it's distinguishable from the other views. And to go with it, you guessed it, we need a view model. Let's create a settings view model model inside the view models folder. Add a constructor. We can close that down. We can actually close down the settings view as well, and the protection view model. And inside the main view model, we want to create a new instance of the settings view model. So settings VM. Initialize a new instance of it. So we'll do settings VM equals new settings view model. And now, how do we actually switch the views? We want to have a command on whenever we change these. So whenever one's clicked, that's when we change it. Let's go and create a command for that. So underneath our commands, we'll do prop relay command, and we'll set this one to, or we'll call it show protection view. We'll add another one for show settings view as well. And underneath these commands, we'll do show protection view equals new relay command goes into anonymous function. Here we're just going to set the current view to most of the protection VM, semicolon, and we're good to go. Now obviously for the protection view, we'll do show protection view, and we'll set the current view to settings VM. And that's really how easy it is. Now we just got to bind it. So for this one, we want to do command binding show protection view, and for the settings one, I should probably change that to settings, and we'll do that show settings view. Now there's actually a reason to why I didn't do anything to this one yet. I want you to try to do it by yourself without watching the video. See if you remember how to do it. Obviously, if you can't figure it out, you can always rewatch this part. All right, let's try this out. So obviously settings, oh, it didn't do anything. It kind of did something. Oh, right. Well, the settings is obvious. We didn't actually register it. So we'll do settings view model, settings view, rebuild. Now what was really interesting to me is that whenever we clicked back on the protection view, it gave us something very strange. It's very strange behavior. And I think I know why. Yeah, show protection view, show settings view. There we go. And did we bind it correctly? Show protection, yeah. Now it should work just fine. Settings and protection. There we go. Okay, I think we're ready to actually style the buttons to make everything look nice. So let's go ahead and create a new folder. We'll call it themes. Let's start by adding the actual title bar button. So we'll create a new resource dictionary. We'll call it title bar button. And then dot the theme name, let's call this Nord, because why not, dot SAML. It's going to be the name of the actual, the control that we're styling, the theme, followed by dot SAML. Let's click add. We're going to start by creating a style, setting the target type to X type button. In here we want to create a few setters. We'll do setter, property, we'll do the background, background, value, transparent. We can self-close this one. We'll add a couple of more. We'll add foreground, for instance. That's going to be light gray. We'll do border thickness. We'll set that to 0. We'll do width about 20 should be fine. We'll do height as well. And we'll add a margin of, let's say 4, not 24, but 4. And that should be the actual base setters for the controller, for the element itself. We'll also do a setter for the property template. Inside here, we'll do setter value. We'll do control template because that's what we're changing. The control template has the target type button. You don't technically need to add X button right here, but we will. So the X type button, there we go. We'll create a border right here. Background, we want to do template binding. Background. We'll add a corner radius to smooth it out a little bit. Let's say 2. In here, we actually want the content pre-center. We can self-close that. Vertical alignment, center. Horizontal alignment, center. Margin, we actually want to do template binding here as well. Margin. I want to add some triggers to it as well to make it look a little bit better. So right underneath the border, we'll do control template triggers. The first trigger, well, the only trigger actually is going to be is mouse over. So we'll do property is mouse over value true. We'll open that up and we'll add a setter in here. Property background and a value about 444444. Yeah, it seems about right. Now this isn't actually going to register here. We're not going to be able to see it just yet up until we go into app.saml. Right where we have themes, we want to do resource dictionary. We can close that off right now. Source, MVVM. Actually, no. This themes folder is not inside the MVVM folder. We want to do /themes or /themes. We can just copy the name of this. There we go. Rebuilding the project. Heading into the main window. We can now see that it's right here. Now it does look a little bit wonky, but we can fix that by adding some padding. Depending on which icon you're using right here, it's going to be a little bit different. Unless you're using the exact same as me. First one we'll do 0002. Looks about right. Let's move this up to make it look a little bit better. On this one we'll do roughly, I think 3 should be fine. 0003. Oh right, I totally forgot. Where instead of margin we'll do padding. There we go. Much better. And for this one we'll do padding 2 should be fine. So we'll do 0002. That looks about right. Running the application and testing it out, we can now see that it looks amazing. And it still works. Alright, let's go ahead and create these buttons on the left hand side. We'll do themes, add a resource dictionary. I'll call this menu button .nord, keeping the same theme. .saml. Here it's going to be the same thing. We'll do style. Here we go. Target type. Remember, it's not button this time, it's actually radio button. So we'll do x.type radio button. Here we go. We'll add a few setters. Self-close that. There we go. Property. The first one's going to be background. Value transparent. We'll add like 4 more. There we go. Instead of background, we'll do margin. And for the value, we'll do 4040 is left, top, right. But yeah, as for the height, we'll do about 38. For the padding, we'll do 0. Now we're actually going to add a cursor as well. So we'll add hand to make it look a little bit more professional. And now for the big setter, the actual template. So we'll do setter, property, template. We'll add a setter value and we'll do a control template. Target type, we'll do X type radio button. That's not a radio. There we go. Inside here, we'll do grid. We'll add a border. We'll set the background to template binding. Background. We'll do corner radius about 4. And we'll add a margin of 4 as well. Inside here, we'll do a stack panel. Now that I think about it, we can actually remove this grid right here. Like that. Stack panel is going to have a orientation of horizontal. We'll add a text block. We'll do a margin of, let's do template binding to that one. So we'll do template binding. We'll do padding, the text. Let's add text here for now because I have an idea. And then the content, not content control, content pre-center. There we go. We'll do vertical alignment, center, margin. Let's do 0002-ish. Now the idea for the actual text is that we're going to have a dependency property. So we can actually add like a nice icon and the text and whatnot. Now underneath the border, we can do some triggers. Do trigger property is mouse over value true. We'll add a setter property background value. We'll do 2020. So close. I'll do something very similar to is checked. So we'll do is checked. Actually, it's going to match better if we do the exact same color. All right, rebuilding the application, heading into app.saml, copy pasting that one, getting the name from here, pasting it in right there. That was the wrong one. There we go. Rebuild the application, heading over to main window. It's starting to look a little bit better. Let's go ahead and create that dependency property that I was talking about. So we'll do we'll add a new class into core. We'll call it extensions. Now this sounds super scary, but trust me, it's really not. It's a very, very basic dependency property, and I'm showing this in order for you to get some hands-on experience with it. It's something that's really, really useful and something that I really do recommend. Now what this actually is that we're going to be able to add our own property right here. So you know how like a button has, for instance, a content. It's a very good example because that's pretty much, we're going to add a second content property. We're going to name it something else though. So in here, we want to do public static read only dependency property. Import a namespace. Say icon, because that's going to be the name of it, equals dependency property that register, where's it? Register attached. There it is. We'll say icon. It's going to be type of, and it's going to be string. For instance, just to give you an example, the type of, for instance, for width is a double. We're going to use a string. We'll do type of, and then we'll do extensions. We'll do new, we'll do property metadata. There we go. Default string. There we go. That looks like a lot. Honestly, not that bad. There we go. We'll break it down a little bit. Now, if there isn't already a video on my channel about dependency properties, there will be one shortly after this video. So in case this is like super confusing to you, you could check that out. Now we just need two very simple functions, one for setting the icon and one for getting the icon. Public static void set icon. We'll do set icon. UI element, call it element string value value. And we're just going to do element dot set value icon and value. We can actually, to make it easier, save some time, we'll copy that and we'll say get icon. Almost the same parameters. We're just going to remove that one. Different return type. We'll do string. We'll return string element. We're casting this as a string. Get value. There we go. Get value icon. And that's it. That's literally it. Cleaning it up a little bit. There we go. Remove those as well. That being done, we can close it down and never look at it again. We're going to go into main window.saml. And as for these buttons, we actually want to add the icon or an icon for each one. So we'll do extensions dot icon equals, and I wonder if I can import a namespace like that. I cannot. So we'll just import it real quick. So we'll do fix it up a little bit. Instead of the local one, we'll do extensions dot core. There we go. Rebuilding the project is going to get rid of the error. And for the actual icon, a really good one is going to be #, was it 128737 semicolon, I believe, I think. Rebuild the project. Oh, right, we haven't bound it in the actual theme yet. So let's go into the menu button. We can actually close down the title bar one. Right here where we have the text, want to do some binding. We'll do path is going to be equal to extensions icon. Obviously grabbing the the same XML namespace that we have right here, putting it right there, and it's going to be relative source. I'll do a relative source mode template parent, and that's it. Go into here, rebuild, and there we go. That was not the one that I was looking for. 128, oh, 373, it's 737, isn't it? 737. Yeah, that's the one. And this is where the padding comes in as well. So we'll do padding, we'll do 7.6, 3.5, 8, and 0. Yeah, looks about right. As for the settings one, we'll add a custom icon as well. So we'll do extensions, extension icon. And here I'm just going to use a cogwheel because why not? We'll add some padding to this one. We'll do about 6, 3.5, 4.7, and let's do 0. That looks about right as well. All right, so running this application, let's try things out. Oh, that's looking so good. Now, remember, this one is for you to customize. I'm doing these two, and you can do whatever you want to this one. Like, already it's looking so good. All right, so now the only thing left really is the list view itself, and then just connecting to the VPN itself. Right, so we're gonna change that inside the actual, where is it? With the protection view. So instead of this, we'll add, what do we do? We'll add a grid we'll do row definitions. And inside here, we'll do row definitions. We'll do 2. The second one, we'll give it a height of 100. Oops. Yeah, looks about right. And let's create or add a nice image to make it look a little bit better. We'll do image. And we'll set the source to set it to this right here. I'll leave the link in the description. We'll set the render options, bitmap scaling mode to fant. We'll make it span, so we'll do grid.rowSpan2. We'll open this up and we'll do image.opacity mask. We'll do a linear gradient brush. And we'll do endpoint 0.5 to 1. And the start point 0.5 to 0. We'll do a gradient stop. Self-close that. Color. And we'll do black. And we'll do another one. We'll set it to transparent. Offset 1. All right, that's looking so good. Now, I think adding a blur to it's going to make it look even better. So I'll go and do that. I'll do image.effect, right? Yeah. I'll do blur effect, radius 10. Yeah, it looks good. We can then go ahead and add the actual list view itself. We'll do item source, say binding servers. Even though we don't have that observable collection yet, we'll add it in just a bit. We'll add a width of about 250. Margin, we'll add a top margin of 20. We'll add a background of 25, 25, 25. Border thickness, oops, not border brush. Border thickness 0. And scroll viewer can content scroll false. We obviously need a button as well, like a connect button. So we'll do button, self-close. We'll do width 250, height about 45. Content is gonna be connect. We gotta set it to the row as well. So the grid.row1. We'll get to styling that in just a sec. Actually, let's style that one first and then finish off with the actual list view. We're gonna create a new theme. We're gonna call it connect button.nord.saml. We'll add a style. We'll set the target type to X type button. There we go. We actually got to give it a key as well. So the X key, we'll call it connect button style. Give it a few property or a few setters with the property of background, for instance. The value, I'll give it a nice blue. 3498 dB-ish. Yeah, that seems about right. We'll do a foreground of light gray. We'll add a cursor, set it to hand. The font weight is going to be medium. The font size is going to be 20. We'll add a setter. Oops. Property template setter dot value control template target type. We'll do X type button. Do border. Open that up. We'll set a background. Now the template binding background. We'll add a nice corner radius of 2. And we'll do the content per center. We'll do a vertical alignment center. Horizontal alignment center as well. The content is going to be template binding content. Now, if the button itself is disabled, we want to make sure that it's gray. So we'll do style.triggers. We'll do a trigger property is enabled, value false. So if it's not enabled, setter property background value gray, indicating that it's disabled. Going to app.saml, if we want to register this button real quick, do connect button, just like that. Now it doesn't set by default. Reload the designer. We have to go into the protection view where we have the button, set the style, static resource, connect button style, and there we go. That looks amazing. All right, now that that's done, I think we can go ahead and style the list view here. So I'm going to create a new theme as always. We'll do a new resource dictionary. We'll call this server list view, not server list view, I'll just call it server list theme.nord.saml. Gonna go ahead and add actually I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so it'll be easier for you to see. I'll start by adding style. In the style, I'll do target type. Target type, there we go. We'll do X type and we'll do a list view. And here we're gonna have a few setters, which we can actually self-close. We'll do property. First one can be background, and we'll do a value of, let's say 25, 25, 25. And then we can go ahead and add a couple of more, so we can actually copy paste that one over there. We'll do foreground. We're actually gonna do white rather than light gray here. Another one for, what is it? Scroll viewer. Yeah, .can content scroll. There we go. And it's going to be false. We'll add another one for the border thickness, border brush, but border thickness. Value will set it to 0. And one for the font family. Now, keep in mind, you can add your own fonts. I'm just going to add Consolas because I think it looks kind of cool when it comes to this project. Right, now that that's done, we can actually go ahead and do style again. This time it's going to be target type, list view item. In here, we're going to add the setter, property, and we'll do cursor, do hand, and another setter, but this time it's going to be for template. We'll do setter.value. In here, we're going to have a control template. In here, we'll add a stack panel. Let's add some properties to that stack panel. We'll do orientation horizontal. Yeah, it should work. And then we'll do margin at about 4. Min height, let's do like 25. And in terms of the background, let's do background. We'll do background. No, what am I? Template binding background. Yeah, it should be fine. In here, we'll do a border with a, so we can close that off. And we'll do a corner radius of about 30. Actually, I'm not sure that it's actually going to round that out. So we can just do, we'll do image and we'll subclose that. We'll add a, about a width of 34. And we'll do, since it's going to be quite a small image, we want to change the scaling mode. So we'll do render options, bitmap scaling mode, and we'll do font. In terms of the source, we'll add a temporary placeholder of the American flag, and we'll do source. There we go. After that, we obviously want some text, so we'll do text block, and we'll set text to, we'll do a binding for it, so we'll do country. That's a margin as well, so it's not so tightly stuck together. Margin, we'll do 4000. Obviously, a vertical alignment of center. All right. Right, so under the setter, we'll create a new setter. We can self-close it. We'll do property, background, value, transparent. Underneath the setter, we'll do style.triggers. And we'll do trigger, and then we'll do property. We'll do is mouse over, value true. And we'll do setter, property, background, value. We'll do about 1E, 1E, 1E. Should be fine. Then we'll do the same thing if it's false. Actually, no, because it's going to revert to its default. So we'll do is selected for this one. And that should be it. That will be it for the actual list view. Now we just got to fix the scroll bar as well so it matches and looks nice. So we'll add another style right here. We'll set the target type to X type. Do repeat button. And here we'll do setter, property, background, value, transparent. And then we'll also do a template as well. So we'll do setter, property, template. And we can open that one. We'll do setter.value. We'll do control template. We'll do target type. And we'll do X type. We'll do repeat button here as well. There we go. In here we can have a rectangle. Yeah, we'll subclose that one. We'll do fill, and we'll do should we do a template? Yeah, let's do a template binding. of background, and we can do height. We can do, let's do template binding here as well. Why not? And we'll do the same thing for width. And we'll do template binding width. Perfect. Copy the style, save some time. Target type is going to be thumb. We don't need a setter. Just thumb as well. The rectangle, we can actually change that to something brighter, like 42, 42, 42. Yeah, it looks alright. Width and height can stay the same. And let's finish it off with the actual scroll bar. So we'll do style, target type, and we'll do X type scroll bar. Inside here, we want to do a few setters, property, and we'll do width, value, 12, self-close. We'll do another one, setter, property, height. Actually, we'll do min width, because I don't think height's actually going to affect anything. We'll do value, 12, self-close. Perfect. Another setter, property, template, you guessed it. Setter.value, control template, with the target type of scroll bar. So we'll do X type, scroll bar. And we'll actually add a grid in here. Inside this grid, we want to have a track. Now, something that's really important about this track is that you got to give it a name, a specific name. So the X name, part, capitalized, underscore track. That's so other parts can recognize this specific track. Now, is direction reserved? Set that to true. Reversed, I mean, sorry. We'll do track, the dot decrease repeat button, and we'll do repeat button. We can self-close that, we can do command. And we can actually do X static. And we'll do scroll bar dot page up command. Perfect. Now we're going to do the same thing, but for page down. So we'll do increase instead of decrease. Increase and page down. And that's literally it. Okay, so now that that's done, should we go ahead and add some things to the list just to see what it looks like? Let's head into the protection view model and let's create an observable collection. So we'll do property observable collection. Import a namespace. It's going to be of type. We'll do server model. We don't have that yet, but let's create one in a new file. Move that over to model. Perfect. It's going to be super simple. We'll do a couple of properties. We'll do ID. Int. It's going to be super simple. We'll do a couple of properties. Int ID. We'll do string username. Prop string password. Prop string server. And one for country as well. String country. Perfect. Inside the constructor, we'll do, actually we should probably rename this to servers. I'll do servers equals new observable collection of type server model. And just for the sake of it, let's populate it with like 10 items. So we'll do, should be fine. This for the, we'll do country equals, let's say USA. And you know what, that should be fine. Now remember that we actually gotta bind it properly. So let's go to the protection view, see that it's bound to servers. And also let's not forget one of the most important things, registering it in the app. So we'll do that, and then we'll do server list theme.nord, should be fine. Now the fact that we actually bound it here already yeah, there we go. Perfect. We are, however, missing a scroll bar, but let's fix that. So heading into the server list theme.nord.xaml, I can already see what we missed. Underneath the increase one, we want to do track.thumb, obviously register the thumb as well. So we'll do thumb, here we go. So close that one. Running it should give us a pretty good result. There we go. This is looking amazing. Now in terms of design, it's pretty much done. Obviously, this one was for you to figure out how to do it yourself. You don't need to keep it like that. We still need to be able to connect to a server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just connect to a simple server, and then you can add as many servers as you want. Then if you need help with connecting to a specific server, when you've added servers, feel free to let me know. It's super easy to figure out, and I highly do encourage you to do so. But if you need extra help, we are in the Discord that I've linked in the description as well. Feel free to jump in and we'll help you out. That being said, let's go ahead and connect to a server. So what I'm thinking is something super simple. You click connect. We're going to have something indicating that we're actually connected. The status being of our current connection. So if we're not connected, connecting, or if we're connected. So what we're going to need is obviously some text to indicate that. So we can probably add that straight away actually. We can do, we'll do list, text block, and we'll do text with just some placeholder here, placeholder to see where it ends up. It's so dark that we can't even see it. We'll do foreground white just to locate it. It's all the way up there. Let's add this to the same row. So we do grid dot row. Actually, that's gonna be do we want a nah, it'll be fine. We'll do horizontal alignment center, put it right there, and we'll do vertical alignment top. There we go. Placeholder. So the idea is that it's gonna say status something like offline. It's gonna change to connecting, and then it's gonna change to connected. It's the idea. And right, so we're gonna have to bind that somehow. Let's do let's create a property in our protection view model. Do prop string connection status. You could use it as an enum rather than a string. It's up to you. Now this is what we're gonna bind it to. So let's go ahead and head over here. We'll do binding. What was it called? Connection status. We'll do connection status. Perfect. So I was not gonna say anything just yet. Let's create a quick relay command to test things out. So we'll do prop relay command. We'll import that. We'll say connect command, and we'll do connect command equals new relay command. Pass in the object. We go and we'll set the connection status equal connecting. There we go. Now going to the button, let's do a command binding to connect command. I think it was. Let's see, connect command. Yeah, we might have a slight issue. Yes, the current issue that we're facing is that we're not actually calling the on property change, which should be it's kind of crucial. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do observable object. Let's inherit from that, and we'll do a full string property. So instead of just that connection string, we'll do prop full and string connection status. What was it called? Yeah, connection status. All right, and then we'll do connection status. We'll go, and in here we'll do on property change. Perfect. Now that that's taken care of, we can actually go ahead and run this. Shouldn't say anything to begin with. Clicking this, we can see it says connecting. Amazing. Now it's obviously not really connecting. Let's go ahead and actually connect to a server. Right, so what we're gonna do is we're actually going to connect through what's called RAS dial, and that's what we're gonna use in order to connect to a server. And the server that we're going to use, we're going to find over here at VPN book. Has a bunch of great free servers. Now, keep in mind, you could use your own server. You're not bound to using these servers. So we'll get back to that site in just a sec. Let's go ahead and build the actual server file. So you would technically use a service for this. But we're gonna put it right in here for simplicity's sake. We'll do a private void server builder. There we go. We'll do var address equals, and we're going to put the address right here. We'll do a pbk path, and we'll do something like, this should be fine. We'll do directory, import a namespace, get current directory, /VPN. Let's actually make this into a folder path. So folder path equals, there we go. And we'll do folder path / and we'll do address.pbk. Alright, so let's check if the directory exists. So if the directory exists, so if it doesn't exist to begin with, we'll do folder path, we'll do directory, create directory, and folder path. I gotta check if the file exists. We'll do if, we'll do file.exist, pbk path. We'll do something simple like message box show, import a namespace, and we'll do connection already exists. Clean this up a little bit, and we'll do return. Otherwise, we can just start building the actual PBK file. So we'll do a string builder, sb equals new string builder. We'll do sb append line is gonna be the actual name of the connection. You gotta put them in brackets like this. We'll say my server. We'll do some properties here. We'll do media equals REST API for the port. We'll do VPN 2-0. We don't capitalize that. We also need a device, WAN, mini port, IKE v2. We'll do device, but capitalize it this time. I will set it to VPN, lowercase. There we go. We can actually remove 1D there. Now for the last one, we want phone number. That's going to be equal to the address. So address, and then we'll do file write all lines. We'll do PBK path followed by SB to string. There we go. I think almost. Write all text. We'll do write all text. There we go. Right, so heading back to this website, I'm gonna select this server right here, because why not? Put that in the address. We are gonna need the username and the password later on, but that's for when we're actually connecting. So as for now, we just want to try this out, so we can actually just call this in the view model like so, run the application, right click the project, open folder in File Explorer, open up the project folder, bin, debug, VPN, and here it is. So if we right click, open with, and open the Visual Studio Code, it almost looks correct. It's actually really good to why we check this, because now we can see that everything's on the same line. That's probably not gonna be very good. So let's delete that one, and instead of append, because I realized that I did append, we'll do append line. There we go, and we'll just switch out all of those. We can actually do that. There we go. Running this again should give us the result that we're looking for. We can close it down, right click the same file, check it, and it looks great. Okay, so we can actually remove it from there, and now all there's left to do is to actually connect to the server, which is actually really straightforward. So inside our anonymous function right here, we can actually do connecting, and in here, oops, we'll clean that up just a bit. There we go. Super simple stuff. We're gonna do var process equals new process. We gotta import a namespace, diagnostics, here we go. We'll do process, start info. Oh, not start time, start info. And we'll do file name equals, and we'll do cmd.exe. We'll do start info and working directory. Gotta make sure that we're in the current directory. So we'll do environment dot current directory. And we'll do argument list as well. So we'll do argument list. Add, and we'll do a literal string. So we'll do /C, I believe it is. RAS dial, VPN. Actually, this is supposed to be the name. So my server, I believe, if I remember the parameters correctly. VPN book is the username. Yep, and the password is Z93CVFV. I think the password rotates every now and then, so make sure to check the website. The link will be in the description. And then the path to the actual PBK file. So / phone book, colon, and I gave it the name of the actual address. So I'm just gonna chuck that in right there. Now, in terms of actually making sure that it connected or didn't connect and whatnot, there is a list of status codes which will show you what happened during the connection and whatnot. And we're actually gonna utilize that to check the state of the connection. So we're gonna do a simple switch statement, and we'll do process exit code, and we'll start with case 0. We'll do the break right here. Case 0 is if it connected successfully, so we'll do console write line success, and this is where you would change the actual connection status. We'll do case what is it, like 691? Should be wrong credentials. Break, and we'll do console write line wrong credentials. And for the default, we'll just do what? Perfect. Also, we can't forget to obviously process start. We'll do process, wait for exit. And you could make it to where the window doesn't actually pop up, because there's going to be a little black CMD window. I think it looks kind of tacky. I don't like it, being displayed. But for the sake of showing that it's actually connecting and whatnot, we'll keep it up. Also, I decided to change the name of the actual connection to just VPN. It's going to make it easier to connect here, because we actually got to do phone book. We'll do dot, because it's current directory, /VPN, because it's in the VPN folder, /VPN, the name of the actual file, .pbk. And that should be it, I believe. Just in case something goes wrong, let's do instead of what, we'll actually print out something useful. So we'll do error, and we'll print the process.exit code to string. We don't even need to cast it to string. There we go. And that should actually give us the exit code. And the exit codes that I'm talking about are over here. So there's a bunch of them. You can see that like 614 is out of buffers, 615 the port was not found, etc., etc. So this is a really good resource to look at when working with RASDial. Link in the description. All right, and that should actually be it for the entire application. Running the application. Here we go. Fingers crossed. There we go. Okay, so it's connecting to the name of the VPN. So we named it my server. We can see that it's a success here as well. Also make sure to change these out for debug. Not necessary, but I think it looks kind of tacky. Right, so to actually check that we're actually connected, let's open up the run window, hit CMD and type ras dial. See that connected to my server. Heading over to whatsmyip.org, we can see that this is now my new IP address. That's definitely not my IP address. And we can see that my host name is us1vpnbook.com. Now, in order to disconnect, you do ras dial /d. Super simple. And now we can do ras dial to check our connections, no connections, and we're back to normal. And oh yeah, we should probably, do this. So connection status, connecting. If it's successful, we'll do connected. Here we go. You could do it to where, like, if it's the wrong credential, retry the connection or try a different server. Let your imagination run free when it comes to this. All right, so just to get rid of that black window, what I did is I set 2 more properties. I used use shell execute, set it to false, and then create no window equal to true. And that should be it. That might actually lock the window. So we'll just wrap this in a task. Just run real quick. Just in case it were to lock the UI, so we don't want any deadlocks, obviously. Let's wrap this all in there. Perfect. And that should be it. Running this, to make sure I'm not connected to anything. And if I click connect, it's going to say connecting and connected. Perfect, and it's a success. And that's literally how easy it is. If you need any help, feel free to join the Discord server. If you want the source code for the entire project, where it's actually fully developed and whatnot, there will be a link to my Patreon where you can get it. That being said, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you sticking all the way to the end. Have a great day. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Oh, I almost forgot. Adding a global view model so that you can access properties throughout each view. We're going to go ahead and click view model, class, and we're going to call this, let's call it global view model. It's going to be super simple. We're going to add a public static global view model and call this instance. We don't need a setter like that. We'll do equals new global view model. There we go. And in here is where you would add the properties that you want to share throughout different views. So for instance, let's do prop, prop full. We'll do bool is awesome. Change this is awesome. There we go. We'll head into protection view model. In here, we'll create a property. We'll say prop global view model. We'll call it global. Again, we don't need a setter, or yeah, we'll set it to global view model dot instance. Perfect. And that's how we're going to access it throughout all the different views. So for instance, let's add a quick checkbox right here. So the checkbox is enabled binding global is awesome. And we'll do row 1. We'll do horizontal alignment center. Vertical, let's put it at the bottom. Here we go. Well, that's a content is awesome. I can't spell. I'm in such a hurry. Foreground white. Perfect. Now let's copy that one over to the settings view. Chuck it in there. Let's do it vertical alignment. Let's not put it at the bottom. Let's put it at the top. Why not? You know what? Vertical alignment center, and we'll change this to a stack panel. There we go. Vertical alignment center. This is like creating a global view model speed run. In here, we want a property of global view model. We'll call it global. Forget the set right here. We'll do equals new. Actually, no. Global view model dot instance. Perfect. And did we bind it? We sure did. Let's try this out. Heading into this, we can see that it's not checked. It's not checked. If I check it right here, I can't even access it. I can't click it. That's because I did is enabled. We want is checked. The speed run is going great. Let's do settings and we'll do protection view. So there we go. See that it's not checked to begin with. Now here as well. I check it there. It's checked in both places. If I uncheck it, it's unchecked. Check, uncheck, check it from here. It's checked here as well. And that's how you create a global view model. So if you were to try to access properties throughout different views, that's how you would do it. Even though you should try to keep properties that are related to one view specific to that view rather than doing this. But if you really need to, this is a good way of doing it.